Gary Vee posts 50 or more pieces of content every single day. What he doesn't tell you is that he has a dedicated content team of more than 30 people whose full-time job is to make all that happen. Videographers, editors, platform specialists, all of them sitting inside VaynerMedia, an 800-person agency. So when Gary says just document everything, he's got an army doing the documenting. You have you. And if you're a consultant, a coach, or a financial advisor trying to copy that strategy solo, I want to show you why it's one of the most expensive mistakes you can make and what the experts who are actually building authority are doing instead. Because it looks nothing like what Gary does and it works better. The alternative is one permanent asset that makes your content write itself. I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Because here's why the volume strategy breaks down fast for a solo practice. In one survey, 79% of content creators reported experiencing burnout. That number climbs to 83% for the ones trying to monetize their content. And when you're running your own practice and doing all your own marketing, that math makes complete sense. Think about what daily content actually looks like from the inside. You're scripting before your first client call of the day. You're writing LinkedIn posts between meetings. You're editing on weekends because you fell behind during the week. You're spending 15 to 20 hours every week on content alone. That's half a full-time job on top of the work you actually get paid to do. None of that time is billable. None of it is serving clients. All of it is feeding a machine that resets every single morning. And here's the part nobody says out loud. For a solo or small practice, daily content isn't a marketing strategy. It's payroll you don't have. But here's what most people miss about why this fails, and it's not what you'd expect. It's not a motivation problem. Most of the people I see try this are highly motivated. It's not an ideas problem either. These are experts with years of frameworks and client experience to draw from. It's a capacity problem. And there's a specific moment, usually around week 6, when the content business starts eating the client business. Think about what creating content at volume actually requires. You're not just posting, you're scripting, filming, editing, uploading, writing captions, replying to comments, and checking analytics. That's a second business running inside your first one. And when the second business starts taking the hours you need to actually deliver results for clients, something quietly breaks. 365 blank pages a year. That's what the daily posting strategy costs you. Not just time, mental energy. The same mental energy you need to do your best work for clients. I want to tell you about Adam, a financial advisor I work with. He runs his own practice. About 18 months ago, he went all in. Daily LinkedIn posts, weekly videos, stories, reels, podcasts, everything. Within 6 months, his pipeline hadn't moved a bit. But his stress had. He burned out, went dark for 3 months. And when he came back, he'd lost more momentum than if he'd never started. Even if he had stuck with it. The issue boils down to this: focused energy versus dispersed energy. Think about the sun. On a warm afternoon, you can feel it on your face. The warmth is real, it's pleasant, but it's dispersed across everything equally. It's not concentrated anywhere. It's just present. Now, take the same energy and focus it through a magnifying glass. Same sun, same energy, but aimed at a single point, and it'll start a fire. Most solo consultants and advisors and small firm owners are out here trying to be the sun with a lighter and a prayer, and they're spreading everything they know across 50 posts that disappear in 48 hours, always showing up, never really landing. Gary Vee can play the dispersed energy game because he has 30 people amplifying every piece, and without that infrastructure, dispersed energy just means busy and invisible at the same time. The magnifying glass is one permanent asset built around your expertise, concentrated, aimed, and it burns through buyer skepticism before you ever get on a call. Here's the simplest way to say this. The sun on your face is warm, but it won't start a fire. The sun through a magnifying glass will. Your expertise works exactly the same way. So what happened to Adam? Months after he burned out, we talked. And what I told him is what I want to share with you now. The problem wasn't that he was creating content. The problem was he was starting from a blank page every single day. No source material, no foundation, just him and a cursor and the pressure to come up with something worth saying over and over indefinitely. What Adam did differently was he stopped feeding the machine and he built the source material first. He spent 90 days extracting what he already knew, his planning process, his risk frameworks, the specific way he thought about money and retirement and protection, and he organized it into a book. One clear permanent artifact of everything he'd been saying to clients for years. Within 6 months of the book coming out, his inbound was higher than any previous year. But honestly, the number wasn't even the most interesting part. What changed was the quality of the conversations. Prospects were showing up to the first call having already read 2 or 3 chapters. They'd reference a specific framework. They'd say things like, "I've been thinking about what you wrote on sequence of return risk. Can we talk through how that applies to my situation?" The call became all about, are we a fit? Not, who are you and why should I trust you? Adam wasn't selling anymore. He was confirming. The book had already done the work before he ever picked up the phone. Here's what I've seen consistently with the consultants and advisors who are genuinely winning right now. They're not trying to out-volume Gary Vee. They built something first. And once that asset exists, the content calendar writes itself. Every chapter is a video. Every framework is a LinkedIn post. Every client story in the book is a newsletter. Adam isn't starting from scratch anymore. He's distributing something he already built. The blank page problem is gone because the source material already exists. Now, here's the question that comes up when I explain this. What happens when I run out of chapters? When I've covered every framework in the book, then what? Think about Gary Vee for a second. He's been posting content for over 15 years. And if you pay close attention, he's really talking about three things: hustle, self-awareness, and patience. That's it. Over and over in 1,000 different formats. Hormozi does the same thing. His entire content universe circles around three ideas: building better offers, generating leads, and scaling. 3 books, thousands of videos, same 3 pillars, repeated until the world knows them cold. You don't need 365 new ideas every year. You need your 3 or 4 core pillars, the ones your clients keep hiring you for, organized into a book. That book becomes the source material, and those pillars, they never expire. You're not running out of content, you're going deeper. That's the difference between dispersed energy and focused energy. One requires you to show up and perform every single day. The other keeps working whether you're in front of a camera or not. And here's what it does to the sales conversation. And this is the part most people don't fully appreciate until they experience it. When someone has read your book before they ever reach out, they arrive pre-sold on how you think. They're not evaluating you anymore. They're confirming fit. The power dynamic shifts completely. This is the exact approach we use with our clients. I'm just showing you how it works. The question most people have at this point is, okay, I understand the concept, but how do I actually build that asset without staring at a blank page for the next 6 months? Because here's what I've learned working with consultants and advisors who've made this shift. They're not writing from scratch. They're extracting what they already know, the things they say to clients every single week, and they're giving it a structure that works in the market. That's exactly what I walk through in this next video. It covers the 90-day extraction process we use with our clients, not writing, extracting. And it explains why we back the whole thing with an ROI guarantee, because what this has to do for your practice is real and measurable. If you're still trading 365 blank pages a year for a pipeline that isn't moving, that video is the one you need. It's right here.